morning, dear students. I welcome you all for physics class. Okay, till last class we have seen the lens formula for a convex lens and concave lens. So how to obtain the lens formula, the derivation we have seen. After that, what is the total internal reflection we have seen. Okay, so for total internal reflection to occur, we must need the two conditions. Condition number one, light must travel from denser medium to rarer medium. Okay, and angle of incidence should be greater than the critical angle, so that there is no refraction occurs, only the reflection takes place in the same medium. Then further, if you increase the angle of incidence, only the reflection takes place in the same medium. So this is called total internal reflections. Now we are going to see the application of total internal reflection. Application of total internal reflections. For that, we can do a simple activity. Take a water in a trough or beaker. Okay, so it contains a water. Now mix some soap liquid in it. Just stir it well. You'll get the soap solution. Okay, in the soap solutions, you use the laser torch. Allow the laser torch to passes through this trough containing the soap solutions. So this is the incident laser beam. You can see that once the laser beam that strikes the surface of separation, which means water-air interface. Okay, this is air medium and this is water medium. So this is the denser medium. So the light from the source is going from denser to rarer. So what happens? Partially the light is reflected and part of a light is refracted. Okay, right? Because denser to rarer, the light bends away from the normal. If you increase the angle of incidence, you can notice that the angle of refraction also decreases. For a particular angle of incidence, the refracted angle becomes 90 degree. That only we have seen the critical angle. So for critical angle in the same trough, okay, the angle of incidence increases. Then the refraction takes place on the surface. Okay, so this is called the critical angle. Further this, if you still increase the angle of incidence, so further that, if you still increase the angle of incidence, what happens? There is no refractions, only the reflection takes place. So by adjusting the given laser sources, you can see that they are changing the path of a light. So the angle of incidence should be increases. So for increasing the particular angle of incidence, the refracted angle becomes 90 degree, which is called as critical angle. Beyond the critical angle, further if you increase the angle of incidence, this is I dash, I double dash, then there is no refractions, only the reflection takes place. In this case, further increasing the angle of incidence, only the internal reflection takes place. So this case is called total internal reflection. It's a very simple activity that we can perform in our lab too. Then same like you take a long test tube. There is a long test tube which containing same like a soap solution. Okay, the light is allowed to incident on this. What happens? Rarer to denser, it bends towards the normal. Again from the surface, there is a internal reflection takes place. Okay, so it's very easily we can see the internal reflections in this medium. Okay, so this is a simple way to identify the internal reflections. Now we are going to see the applications for a total internal reflection. For that, the first one is mirage. We are very familiar and everyone may experience, I think, in a hot sunny days. So the first application is mirage. So we used to say as cornel near. Actually, there is a water-like appearance, but while we are reaching the places, it won't be there. Mostly the mirage is nothing but it is an optical illusion. It is an optical illusions. Even illusions means like magicians also uses the techniques that we use to represent as illusions. But mirage also an optical illusion. So how mirages occurs? Mostly it occurs in the desert. In a desert, we know oasis. Oasis is a place where water is available and more dates and the plants are date trees and the plants are available. So the camels, the shepherds and all taking rest there. Okay, but sometimes they may get the water-like appearance, but while they are going to approach, but the places there is no water. That only we used to say as mirage. That is a carnal need. So how mirages occurs? In a normal days, this is a tree. Okay, right. So this is a tree and this is a ground, and there is an observer who is observing the tree. So in a normal days, the air is the constant temperature. So there is no change in the air medium. So the refractive index is constant. So the light rays from the tree to observer, light rays from the tree to observer, it goes like this. Okay, directly. So he will get the original trees. So the tree appears like a original tree. So this is in a normal days. That is not as normal days. But in desert, how it looks? So in desert, this is a tree, original tree, and this is a ground, and an observer is looking into the mirage. So for him, how it looks? Because very close to the ground, the air medium gets heated, so the air is warmer. So the heated air become a less dense. Heated air become less dense. So the cold air which is located above. So from the ground, when it goes above, higher above the ground level, the refractive indexes gradually increases. But from tree to the ground, the refractive indexes decreases. From tree to ground, refractive index decreases. Okay, I repeat once again. Very close to the ground, the sand which is heated directly by the sun. Okay, so very close to the ground, the air medium gets heated, so it becomes less dense, and the region above this high dense. So from the tree level to the ground level, the refractive index gradually decreases. So for that, to the observer, the trees looks like this. Okay, the trees looks like on the soil. So on the soil, it looks like. So this is called mirage. So a mirage is an optical illusion. Mostly we can see in a desert due to different density of the air medium. Even in a hot sunny days, while you are traveling on a highway, you are sitting inside the car. The car is moving on a highway, national highway. So on a tar road, you can see that in a long distance, the water-like appearance, but you are going to reach near that, it vanishes. So that is called mirage. So it is due to the different density of air medium. So we are safely sitting inside the car with the AC, so air is more dense. But outside the car, very close to the road surface, the black surface, so which traps more sunlight, so the air is heated up, so it becomes a less dense. But above the road, the air is high dense. So due to the two different density of the air medium, there is a water-like appearance that only we used to say as mirage. Okay. The second one is diamond. The second application of total internal reflection is diamond. Diamond. Okay. So diamond also a best example for total internal reflections, because we have a gemstones. So comparing other gemstones, the diamond is very precious and more valuable, and that shines very bright. So the brilliance of the diamonds due to their sharp cutting. So how much it is sharpened, that much it sparkles. So the sparkling of diamond is due to the fine sharpening. So mainly the total internal reflection takes place, because in a diamond air interface, the angle is very small. The angle is approximately equal to 24.4 degree. This is very small. Moreover, diamond is sharpened well, so a multiple total internal reflection takes place on the diamond, so that it sparkles and it shines a lot. Okay, so diamond sparkles comparing other gemstones due to total internal reflections. Then third one is, the third application of total internal reflection is prism. So prism used to bend the light rays without changing their objects in the same size in 90 degree as well as 180 degree. So case number 3, application 3 is prism. So in a prism, the two important things, we have a different shape of prism. First we will see the right angle prism. This is a right angle prism. In the right angle prisms, it is 90 degree, this two angles 45 and 45 degree. Okay. So in this, we allow the light rays from the object to passes to this. Light rays are allowed to passes to this prism. So AB, this is the object. So from the object, the light rays are incident parallelly and incident on the prism. Then in the surface, it is get internally reflected. After the refraction, it get internally reflected. Okay. Then again, it's coming out from the prisms. Okay. So here, this is correspond to the A, so that is A dash, and from the object, this is a B, so it is corresponding to B, so it is B dash. So here from the interface, prism air interface, the angle is less than 45 degree. Okay, the angle is less than 45 degree in these cases, in these two cases. So this is right angle 90 degree and this is 45 degree. Okay, so this is total internal reflections takes place in these cases in a right angle prism. Similarly, in another one, triangular glass prisms, how it takes place? In a triangular glass prism, look at that. In a triangular glass prism, okay, these are triangular glass prisms. From the object to AB is an object. So two rays started. After incidence, internally it gets reflected. So this is for the ray A, and again it undergoes another one reflection, and it's come out. Similarly, so this is for A, so it's A dash, and for B ray internally gets reflected, again it's coming out from the prisms, so it is for B dash. So in this diamond, okay, the critical angle of the prism must be less than 45 degree. The critical angle, that is IC, must be less than 45 degree. But in 180 degree also it may change. So how in 180 degree? We'll see that. Okay. So this is another trapezium shaped prisms. So AB is the object. So AB, from the object two rays are incident parallelly. After incident parallelly, then it undergoes the refractions. Then the A is internally get reflected. and this is for B, that is also internally get reflected. Then this is emergent ray. So for A, this is corresponding emergent A dash, and this is incident B after internal reflections. After internal reflections, this is corresponding emergent ray. So the images with the same size. Okay, so we can say that to invert image, so to invert the image without changing their actual size, without changing their actual size. So this is object, but what is the size of an object? The same size of image we will get. Okay, so but it is get inverted. If object is upward, then image is inverted. Okay, so the same thing only happening in every prism, different shapes. So in the different shapes of the prism, that is right angle prism and triangular prisms and other shapes of the prisms, same phenomena takes place. Even 10th you have studied, if two prisms in that one is inverted to another, if you allow the white light, then what is the emergent light from the second prism? Same white light. Okay, so this is the application of internal reflections in a prisms. Okay, after the prisms, the fourth important one is optical fiber. The fourth application is optical fiber. So in optical fiber also, the total internal reflection is a working principle of the optical fiber. How it looks, what is the purpose of optical fiber? We are well known that nowadays we are united all by internet. So mostly for internet communication, we'll use the medium, it's optical fiber medium. The entire world itself, every country in this world linked through a optical fiber. The optical fibers is nothing but a flexible transparent medium that completely allows the light to pass through them by the application of total internal reflections. Recently, Modi also started optical fiber cable from India to Port Blair, Andaman, no? Yes, under the sea. So under the sea only the medium travels. So optical fibers, it looks like a transparent, flexible medium. Even you can see in the car festival, some toys also. Okay, it glows at the tips. It looks like a same here, you know, we like vermicellis. Yes, vermicellis. But at the bottom, one small disc is located. In this disc, one single LED is placed. If you switch on, the multicolor LEDs are emitted, but all this vermicelli like bunches are attached. At the tips, it glows. At the tips, it glows. So this is also, even if you bend also, the light won't stop glow. So it continue glow. Because what is the phenomena used behind this? Optical total internal reflection. So this is called optical fiber. How the optical fiber is used? Even optical fibers which carries the signals without much loss of energy. So the energy loss in the optical fiber is very, very less. Maximum amount of energy can be carried through the optical fiber. So mostly it is used for communication purpose. Communication purposes. Okay, so the optical fibers looks like this. This is outer covering, that is called as cladding. The outer covering of the optical fiber is called cladding. The outer covering of the optical fiber is called cladding. We'll differentiate with the different colors. This is the outer covering is called cladding. So a cladding is a outer covering with a low refractive index. This is also cladding. So we can say that a main optical fiber is surrounded by cladding on either side. So the actual optical fiber is high density, high refractive index, high optical density. This is low optical density, and the main thing is called the core. This is a core which has high optical density. We know that energy can be converted from any form to another form. So the internet signals, it is converted into light signal, that is mainly a laser signals. Then the converted light signals are allowed to pass us through this. The converted light signals are allowed to pass us through this optical fiber. Even if you bend, twist, also it won't break, and there is no change in the loss of light. It continues to glow. So once the light is allowed from the optically rarer medium to optically denser medium, the light is enters. Then what happens? It ray gets refracted. After refracted from the internal walls, it's completely reflecting surface. So, and it's completely transparent medium. The core is entirely transparent medium. Then the ray undergoes a multiple reflections by the wall. After the multiple reflections, we'll get the output. So this is incident light, and this is output light. So the energy loss is very, very less. Okay, mostly in the core medium we may use a quartz. If you use a silicon glass fiber, for a silicon glass fiber, nearly 95% of light we get back as an output without appreciable loss in energy. So nearly it is used to transmit for 1 kilometer. Even from the transmitting source to the destiny receiver, for a distance of 1 kilometer, the energy loss is very, very less, nearly less than 5%. Okay, that also can be improved by some amplifiers. That's why the entire world is completely linked with the optical fibers. So optical fiber, that is a fiber optics, is mainly used for telecommunications, that is communication purpose. So in the constructions, it consists of a flexible transparent medium. The outer covering is called a cladding, which is low optical density. The inner core is high optical density. So for a two different density of medium we have, once we allow the light to pass through them, it undergoes internal reflections. Then multiple internal reflection takes place. So the energy loss is very, very less. So maximum amount of energy what we are sent through as an input, that we can get from the output. Because of that, the optical fibers are mainly used for internet communications. Okay. We're going to see the refraction at the spherical surface. So till now we have studied only the total internal reflection and its application. Next we are going to see how the refraction takes place in the spherical surface. Let us consider a spherical surface. So this is a spherical surface. Okay, a lens also have bounded by two spherical surface, and this spherical surface is highly denser medium. No, so this is highly a denser medium, and this is a rarer medium, optically rarer, and the light is enters, and this is the principal axis, the imaginary straight line which passes through the center of curvature, the imaginary straight line which passes through the center of curvature and is optic center. Okay. So let us consider a point object is placed at left hand side here. So from the point object, the light is incident. So this is the incident ray, and center of curvature is located at the center. So center of curvature is here. This is center of curvature C1 for the spherical surface. So imagine this is a denser spherical surface. Once the light enters from wrap medium to denser medium, what happened to rays? It bent towards the normal or away from the normal? Rarer to denser towards the normal. First, from point of incidence M to the center of curvature, we draw a normal. A normal is drawn from point of incidence to center of curvature. So to the normal, the incident ray makes an exterior angle, that is I. I is angle of incidence because O is a point object. So from the point object, the incident ray that strikes a spherical surface at M, and from M, the ray gets refracted. So the ray bends towards the normal. This is the normal, no? So the ray bends, actually it has to go like this, but instead of going straight, due to the denser medium, we know the rule. Rarer to denser, the ray bends towards the normal. So image is obtained here. This is the position where we get the image. Okay. And here, this is angle of incidence. So the incident ray creates angle to the principal axis is alpha. Okay. And from the point of incidence, we draw a perpendicular line to a principal axis. It meets here, and this is we consider as a pole. We are considered as pole. Okay. And another one, this is the refractor ray. So the refractor ray makes that makes angle to the normal is angle of refraction. So the image is obtained here. Here, the center of curvature which create an angle to the principal axis is gamma, and the image which create an angle to the principal axis is beta. So we have three different angles. What are the three different angles? Alpha, beta, and is gamma. So alpha is an angle created between incident ray to principal axis. Beta is an angle created between image to the principal axis, and gamma is an angle created between center of curvature to principal axis. Okay. Already we know Snell's law. What is the Snell's law says? According to Snell's law, from Snell's law, what is Snell's law? This is the first medium and denser is the second medium. So the refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium is equal to refractive ratio between the sine of angle of incidence and to the sine of angle of refraction. With this we are very clear, already we have studied. According to Snell's law, the refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium is the ratio between sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction. Also we can write this as n2 by n1, which is equal to sin I by sin r. Okay, but it is very small angle. But for small angle, we may consider sin I as I and sin r as r. Then how will you change the equation? Then this equation becomes n2 by n1 is equal to, first we can use cross multiplications, after that we will substitute the value. By using cross multiplication, n2 sin r, which is equal to n1 sin I, then substitute the value. n2 r is equal to n1 I. So we will keep the relations in separately. Okay. So now we are going to see how refraction takes place on this. So first we are going to determine the angles. Here the exterior angles, so this is the exterior angles. So an exterior angle is a triangle. Here the exterior angle is a triangle. So the angles are, we are going to find the angles. First, I, exterior angle is I know. So I is equal to alpha plus gamma. Similarly, gamma is equal to r plus beta, or we need angle of refraction. So r is equal to gamma minus beta. Okay, right? Okay. So this is the angle, we got it. Now we are going to substitute this value in Snell's law. Substitute this angle I and angle R in Snell's law. Substitute this in equation 1. What we'll get? N2 is equal to N2 into gamma minus beta, which is equal to N1 into alpha plus gamma. But what is alpha? We'll write it. We'll find it now. So here alpha is equal to, consider this triangle. So alpha is equal to opposite by adjacent. No. What is opposite? MP divided by PO. Okay. Or you will consider the Mn itself. Okay. No need a MP. We'll consider it is Mn. This pole we consider Mn. So opposite Mn divided by On. Similarly, beta. What is the beta? Beta is equal to this triangle. No. So this is angle na. So opposite by adjacent. Beta is equal to Mn by Ni, and gamma is equal to gamma. This is a triangle. So this is gamma triangle. So in this, gamma is an angle. So the triangle MNC, in MNC, gamma is equal to Mn by NC1. And already we know the position of object from the surface is object distance. According to sign, it is minus u. And the position of image from the surface is plus v. And from the surface to the center is radius of curvature plus r. In latter case we are going to use. Now substitute all this angle value here. So what do you get? N2 into, what is the gamma? Gamma is Mn by Nc1 minus beta is Mn by Ni, which is equal to N1 into alpha and gamma is the substitute. So alpha is Mn by On plus gamma is Mn by Nc1. Okay. Next, in all these terms, we have a Mn, no? So you take the Mn commonly outside. So what you'll get? N2 into Mn of 1 by Nc1 minus 1 by Ni, since we have taken the Mn outside. Similarly, in the right hand side, already N1 is there. Now you take a Mn commonly outside. Then remaining we have 1 by On plus 1 by Nc1. Okay. So next step, the Mn, the common term, we can eliminate. Then bring it in, multiply this value inside. What will you get? N2 by Nc1 minus N2 by Ni, which is equal to, similarly in the right hand side also multiply inside, N1 by On plus N1 by Nc1, N1 by Nc1. Now you use the sign convention. Okay, using sign conventions, in above relation, using sign conventions in the above relations, what you will get? N2 by Nc1. Nc1 is the radius of curvature. So R minus N2 by Ni. Ni is the image distance. So it's a plus V, which is equal to N1 by On. On is the object distance according to sign. It is in the left hand side. So the left hand side measurement is taken as minus. So minus u plus N1 by R. Okay. Now you are going to rearrange the two terms. So this term to the right hand side and that term to the left hand side rearrange, and you will get n2 by r minus n1 by r. This plus terms you are transferring to left hand side, you will get minus, which is equal to this minus you transfer here, minus n1 by u. This minus you are transferring to right hand side, you will get plus n2 by v, r. Commonly the denominator you take. So n2 minus n1 by r, which is equal to n2 by v minus n1 by u. So this gives the relationship between the refractive indexes, radius of curvature, object distance and the image distance. So this is how the refraction takes place when a light travels from rarer to denser. Rarer to denser. Suppose if light traveling from denser to rarer, it's totally different. That is n1 minus n2 divided by r, which is equal to n1 by v minus n2 by u. So this is for the case when a light is traveling from denser to rarer. Okay, but mostly they won't ask this case. Only from rarer to denser only they'll ask. Okay. So I hope you are very clear. Once again I'll explain in a shortcut. So refraction of the spherical surface, like a lens, imagine like a lens. So lens is a spherical surface. So the light is coming from air medium to the gas medium. So the air is the first medium, which we are consider optically rarer, and the gas is the second medium, that is optically denser. But object is a point object. For a point object, the light rays are incident. From point of incidence to the center of curvature, we have drawn a normal. Then the light ray is bending towards the normal, that is called refractor ray. Then we have an angle, because from the point of incidence you draw perpendicular. With respect to the perpendicular, we have a three angles, that is alpha, beta and gamma. Okay, and find the value of alpha, beta and gamma. This is the alpha, beta, gamma value. First we'll use a Snell's law. Okay, the refraction takes place in the second medium with respect to first medium, no. So refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium is ratio between sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction. But this also we can write it as n2 by n1. Then using cross multiplications, this is a solution. Here the angle is a small angle. So sin I we consider as I and sin r we are considered as r. Then this is a solution from the Snell's law. After that, you are seeing the exterior angles. This is a triangle. So here the exterior angle is in triangle. You are finding the I and the R value. That is angle of incidence and the angle of refraction. We have found it. After finding the angle of incidence and refraction, substitute in this body equation. Then with an angle, after substituting the angle, the common Mn terms you take it outside for simplification. Then multiply inside by using sign conventions and rearranging. This is a final equation. Okay. So this equation gives the relationship between refractive indices, radius of curvature, object distance and image distance. So this equation is applicable when a light is traveling from rarer medium to denser medium. Suppose if it is vice versa, if light is traveling from denser to rarer, this is the equation. So based on this, next we are going to see the Lensmaker's formula, which is very important topic. So that we will see in a next class.